Alright, so I'm going to take some water, a little dishwater, sink water, and I'm just going to wipe the back of the bow and get it wet. Now I already took a hacksaw blade and scraped it long ways to put grooves in the wood. This way the glue will have more area to stick to. Now this has some dish soap on it. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just washing the oils out of the wood. Any oil that's going to impede the glue has got to go. That'll be the side facing away from you when you shoot it. Pre-tension. Okay. So I've got it sitting up on these logs here, these driftwood pieces, and I'm just going to let it, I'm going to sinew back it right on there, and this will aid with the thing wanting to, sinew pulls when it dries, and so does hide glue, so it's going to want to pull the whole bow into a reflex. So I'm going to dry the bow off and then I'll be back. Alright, so what I'm doing now is I got my pile of sinew here. Yeah, it's tendon that I shredded into fibers. And then, I don't know if you can see these lines here on this tin foil. That is clusters of sinew that I'm pre-soaking and having sit in there, like sitting them there flattened out, so that I can dip them into my hide glue and put them on the bow. We got a few worked up here into bundles, so now it's time to do something called sizing the bow. The way you do that is you put a little bit of the glue on your fingers. Some people use a paintbrush. I think that's ridiculous. It's primitive shit, right? So I'm just dipping into this little hot hide glue mix that I got, and you size the bow. That just means you put a layer of glue all over the whole back of the bow, and you give it a couple of seconds to kind of soak into the wood. This way, when you actually apply the product to the wood, the glue doesn't soak into the wood and become dry in spots and give you air bubbles and fail on you. Put my back against his head. Psychotically I said, dry motherfucker, dry motherfucker, dry motherfucker, dry. And the handle. So you got the middle of the bow, and then you place it down right in the center of the middle of the bow, and then your next piece will go here, and then here you go all the way down, and then when you come back at your joints where two meet, you put a long one across there, so like a brick pattern. So you see these lines here, that's one layer of sinew that goes all the way down the back of the bow now, all the way to the other side. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rest of these and put them on here. I guess I can do it while I'm talking here. You see how I put this next one here, so the other seam to the two of them was here. And now there's a new piece of sinew there that covers that seam. And I do that all the way across the whole back of the bow. We're still here. And you can see I've done quite a bit. So I've got more set out here. And I'm reheating the hide glue here. And I'm gonna let that cool off a little bit. If it's too hot, the sinew will melt in it. And then I'm gonna start from here. You can see how I brick patterned it. If you look closely, there's a seam there in the middle, seam there in the middle. There's a full piece of sinew. So I'm overlapping the seams everywhere. Alright, so the whole bow's sinew backed. Take you guys on a little sinew back tour. Starting here. That's the tip. See how I wrap sinew around it? There's sinew underneath it as well. Just go all the way down that whole bow. That's one layer.
I gotta do 2 more layers. I'm gonna let this dry. Once it gets kind of like jello-y on the top, or it's stuck to it but it's still wet, I'm gonna take this ace bandage and I'm gonna wrap it around the bow so that it allows the glue to breathe and dry, but it also squishes it hard to the bow.
So here it is after it's been sinew backed. I wrap the ace bandage around it to hold the sinew tight to it. And now I'm going to leave it like this for at least a week. I will tune back in and, yep, that's it.